Good morning. Somewhere within the 52 days it took for Nehemiah and the Jews to complete the building of the walls, trouble happened within. The brothers and their wives complained about their fellow Jewish brethren taking advantage of them. Some didn't have land and they needed food, so they didn't have anything to bargain with. Others owned land and they were going to have to give that land. So in chapter 5 verse 1 it says the landowners were forced to mortgage their property to buy grain, to buy corn. So in order for them not to starve, it's like we need to sell off our property. But then wait, if you sell off your property, you still have property tax owed to the Persians because they imposed a Persian tax. Then there's also those who, well, we don't have land, we don't have food, but we have children. Their children were now the children of their brothers, or they were sold as servants. Now, in Exodus 22, verse 25, it says not to charge interest, not to be a money lender or what we would say in today's like a loan shark or something, not to exact interest on your fellow brethren when they were poor. But that's what was happening. These guys said, but even as our children have been sold into bondage as servants, we don't even have anything to redeem them back. We can't buy them back because we don't have land, we don't have money, we don't have grain. Now, in the Old Testament, Hebrew slaves were allowed after 6 years, or in that 7th year jubilee, they were supposed to go free. These guys were saying, we don't see a way that we can get our children back. And still, they were hungry. Nehemiah was angry when he heard they're mistreating one another. How can you mistreat your brother who's already poor? You're just a hand up. But before he can react in anger, in verse 6 says, when he was angry, verse 7 says, then I consulted with myself. That's our application. A lot of things happen. We see a lot of things. We hear a lot of things. Sometimes it causes anger. There's a righteous anger. God says, be angry and sin not. Don't let the sun go down on your wrath. There's a righteous anger for civil injustice, for social injustice, for racial injustice. But there's also a way to handle it. Think before we speak. Ask the Lord to place a guard over our mouth so that the words we use will be to edify, to improve, and not put anybody down. But we want to solve the problem. Nehemiah, throughout this journey, showed to be a righteous man in needing and understanding that he needed the wisdom of God for his life. That's what we need today. Don't speak rashly. Think. Ask yourself, if I say this, who will it help? If it's not going to help anybody, just cut it off. Jesus didn't say a mumbling word. A lot of the times when they were mocking him, talking about him, we are Christians, Christ-like. Let's learn to think before we speak. Nehemiah chapter 5, verses 1 through 8. I love you. God loves us. He so wants us to love one another. God willing, I hope to see you Monday. Have a terrific and safe weekend. Bye.